Now, picking up right where we left off from part one of this movie, we have created this master page setup where on the master, on the A master, I've laid out these colored boxes here that are just going to be kind of for, I'm going to lay other things on top of that. And, I've on the left side of the A master, I've got it set it up this way. And on the right side of the A master, I've got it set up this way. But what you'll notice is if I go here to page number one, those colored boxes show up, but I can't move them, I can't drag them, and that's because those colored boxes really aren't on page one, they're on the master page. And anything you put on a master page affects any other page that is what's called a slave to that page. It's kind of a master-slave relationship. Now, how do you know if a page is a slave? Well, if you look up here on page number one, in the very top corner of this thumbnail, it says A right up there. Well, that means that this page is a slave of the A master. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a video game or something. I am your master. The A master is the boss of this page, and page number one would be kind of like a right-facing page here. So you see the yellow box on the right and the orange box on the left. Now, if I go down here to page two, you'll see that, again, these boxes are here. They show up, and it's because they're on the A master, and page number two is a slave of A master. All right, and page number three is a slave of A master, and you'll see that the boxes are laid out just the way they are on the master page. All right, well, and that continues on down through page 4, page 5, page 6. All of those things that I put on the master page apply to these other pages because these pages are slaves to the master. Well, okay, so let's go to work on finishing this up now. We've got our master page taken care of. We've done some custom colors. We've done some swatches. Now what I want to do is start laying out this information about 5 great thinkers. All right. Now, I might just open up my little demo page, and I want to show you something here. You're looking at page 1 of my demo that I showed you in the last movie, and you'll notice, oh wow, those boxes, those colored frames that are on the master page aren't showing up here. Because what I wanted to do on page 1 is I wanted to make page 1 different from the rest of the document. Well, let me show you how to do that. All right, I'm going to go back here to my one that I'm working on right now. All right, I'll go to the Pages panel over here. Now, here's what I can do. Like I said, I want page 1 to look different than the other pages. I don't want page 1 to be a slave to the A master up here. So watch. On the Pages panel, up here where it says None, there's this plain white box. I'm going to take this white box and I'm going to drag it and drop it right on page 1 here. Pow! Look what happened to page 1. Page 1 is no longer a slave to the A master up here. Page 1 is free. It's not a slave to anything. I can put whatever I want on page 1. Now, if I ever wanted to, I could set that back, but I don't want to set that back. I want to keep it as a kind of what I would call a free page. It's not a slave to anything. All right, well, here on page 1 then, real quickly, I'm just going to take the rectangle frame tool and kind of lay that out. I'll go to my swatches panel, and I'm going to fill that up with I've got my swatches on here that I created. I'll use the gold colored swatch, and I think I'll give it a bit of an outline, a little black outline, and bump up the stroke of that outline just a bit. All right, I'm going to take the type tool, the text tool, and we did this in the previous assignment. I'm just going to make a good size type box up here, and I'm going to say 5 great, I should spell it right, great thinkers of our, spell it right, time. All right, it's kind of like a title for the whole thing. All right, 5 great thinkers of our time. So I'll select that text, and this is stuff we did on the last. I'm going to center it. I'm using this font called Trajan Pro, but you can use whatever you want. You use whatever font you want. I'm going to make that pretty good size, 5 great thinkers of our time. All right, and so right now, see, I've got, in fact, I might do it like that. Okay, and I can take that frame and kind of move that around a little bit, and I want to lay that out like that. Now I could change the color of this if I wanted to. If I wanted that text to be a different color, I could use one of my swatches here. I could use that orange color if I wanted to. You know, I could. And remember that with any of these kinds of things, you can right click and go to effects, and like I could give it a drop shadow if I decide I would like to have a drop shadow on there. That's really kind of up to you. You can add drop shadows and things like that if you want. All right, so I've got this, see this page one, if I go back to my pages panel, page one looks different now than all of the others. I like it that way. Now the rest of the work on this is just a matter of filling in the text and putting in the pictures and things like that. So if I go here to page number 2 of my document, I've got these nice layout areas all set up for myself here. And if I want to put some text here in this blue box, I can just drag out a text frame here, and I can say, I think this one's going to be Homer Simpson. And you'll have to decide who you're going to put in your, and I think I'm going to center that, and I'm going to use that Trajan Pro font, and I'll do bold, and I'm going to make it bigger. About 48 point ought to be good. And again, you can kind of size those boxes a little bit and you can put them around where, you know, wherever, lay it out however you think it looks good. And I could do whatever I want with color on that. I could select that text, I could drag over it here, and I could use my swatches panel. You know, if I want that to be the orange color, I could do that. All right, and I could add an effect to that if I want to, but you get the idea. Now, in this box, in this yellow box here, I want to take my type tool and make a little text box in there. And this is where I got to write a sentence or two about what's so great about Homer Simpson. And I'll say, without Homer Simpson, you would not hear people saying, "Dope." Life would be so much more boring. And you say whatever you want here, would not value donuts nearly as much. Donuts. All right, so I've got some text in there, just a sentence or two about why Homer Simpson's so great. And obviously, I'm not terribly serious with this, okay? Set your font up to whatever you want. I'm going to use Trajan Pro Regular on this. I'm going to bump the size of it up until I kind of get it where I want it. You know, I'll just kind of keep bumping up the size a little bit. And I could fill justify that. I could right justify it. You know, you can kind of set that up however you want, center it. Now, the other thing I need here is a picture. All right, I want to make sure I'm deselected here. All right, so now I need a picture of Homer Simpson over here on the right-hand side. This is where I want to put the picture of Homer Simpson, over here on the right-hand side. So I'll go to, and we learned this in a previous session, File, Place, and I got to browse around to find where I have my pictures saved. Now, I've already been out on the internet and collected all the pictures that I want, and you may have to do that too. Get out there and get pictures of whoever you want. And remember, I'm not connected to my Drive H or my Drive L here, so I'll just get to the folder that I need to get to for this. And here we are. All right, all my pictures are in here, and I want a picture of Homer Simpson. All right, now I believe that this is the one that I want, so I'll open that up. And yep. Now remember, the cursor is going to look like the picture. I could click once and drop it on there, or I could click and drag and kind of size it up the way I want. And I like to do that auto fit option up at the top. All right, so that's kind of what I want to do with each one of these. I want to put the text up at the top, the short description over here, a picture over here, and now I can move ahead. Back here on my Pages panel here, what I'll do is double click on page number 3. Remember, page 1 is a title page, and we said that's not going to be a slave to a master. It's going to be it's not going to be a slave to anything. So we designed that on our own. And then this page 2 has all the master page elements on it. And page 3 is going to have master page elements on it. So I can go to work on my second one here, and let's say that I want to do I'll just do the character from Halo, Noble 6. So I'll put my text box on there, and Noble 6 was in one of the Halos. Actually, I don't remember if it was Halo 3 or that might have been it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to make that Trajan Pro, and it's going to be bold, and I'm going to center it, and I'm going to make it bigger, probably about, I'll go with like 60. Yep, that looks pretty good. And as far as color goes, right now it's black. It doesn't look bad black, but I could go over here, remember, to my swatches panel, and I could apply a different color to that if I want. Pow, there we go. So now I've got, well, I applied the color there to the fill of that text box. And I would rather apply that swatch to the text itself. Just drop it right on there, and that's not working either. I guess I have to select that text and make it the color that I want. There we go. Got it. All right, and again, this time, I'm using this orange box for pictures, so I can make sure that nothing is selected, and I could go to File and Place. And I've got a picture of Noble 6 in here. I'll open that. I'll put him over here. Do the auto fit feature. Move him over a little bit. Remember, you can add a stroke to it if you want to. A little black outline around that might look nice. And you can right click and do effects like drop shadows or glows or feathers or things like that too if you wish. That's up to you. And then I would need to finish this page off, I would need a text box over here. And remember, when you do these text boxes, just a sentence or two. Just put on why you think they're so great here. So like in this case, I would say, without Noble 6, we would all have been overrun by the flood. And again, if you're not a Halo fan, that won't make much sense, but that's okay. And I'm just going to I'm going to make that Trajan Pro regular, and I'm going to bump the size of that up, and I'll just I wanted to kind of take the size of that up so it pretty much fills my text box here, and I think I'll center that in there. It'll look a little bit nicer. And I could change the color of that font if I wanted to. You can do whatever you want as far as that goes. Plus, you can select these with your black arrow tool, and you can give a text box an outline, a little stroke here. There's just all kinds of possibilities that you can work with. So there you go. Now, hopefully you're getting the idea here. You work on the master page. Once the master page is complete, you work on the layout of all of this. I'll go back to my pages panel, and I would have to continue on with page 4 and page 5 and page 6 until I have something that looks kind of like this. All right, this is the one I made ahead of time. Here's page 1, and here's my page 2 right here with Homer Simpson. Let me get that centered up. And here is my page 3 with Alexander Graham Bell. And I had page 4 with Noble 6. Page 5 had Albert Einstein. And then page 6, I put the crew of Apollo 13. Now, again, you don't have to spend a ton of time. Pick 5 characters, even if they're fictional. Pick 5 characters that you kind of like and put them in there, and off you go. Don't sweat over it being, you don't have to write a thesis about this. Just work on getting them done. But the big thing today is working on that master pages idea. All right, so when you get this all done, when you have the 6-page layout all done, and it's, you've got everything in there, 5 great thinkers of our time, and you've got all of your pictures, your text, your descriptions are all in. You save this on your network drive, File and Save As, and make sure you save it on Drive H, and you could just call it Thinkers. That would work. And then once you save that, You got to drag it and drop it when it's all done. You got to drag it and drop it into your turned in folder. Now you got 2 days to do this one. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is one that I leave 2 days to get it done, because there is a little bit of writing to do. It's not a ton, but this is a 2-day project, so you should have plenty of time to get it all done if you're here both days. So folks, that's it. I think it's time to jump in and have at it.